Good morning. It is 6:30 a.m. Sitting outside the shop here in the rain, looking at this Notorious EDC Kingpin. I was completely unaware of this knife until one of my friends sent it to me to check out, and I had no idea what it was. I had to ask him. I saw there's a little N right there on the blade. I had never seen that emblem before. And he told me what it was. And apparently, I looked it up, and Notorious EDC is the same guy behind the, you ever see those, like, it's like a one knuckle duster thing, but it looks like a bomb, kind of. He makes those and a couple other, like, really popular, like, pocket jewelry stuff. So I guess he designed a knife. I had no idea. I've never followed him or paid attention to him. I'm just not into that stuff really, but this is a pretty cool knife. I like some things about it. I'll put in some close-ups here, clips, throughout the video so you get a better look. It's a cool design, man. It's it's very pokey, very slender, pokey tip. But it's not like a high clip point either, so, you'll be able to get to the tip really easily. It's got a fuller, so you could grab it and, pull it out. It's a slip joint, if I didn't say that. Half stop. The walk and talk is not the strongest. I'd say maybe like a 5. From close to half stop, it's more like a 5, and then from half stop to open feels actually pretty good, maybe like a 7. And then half stop, or full open to half stop feels pretty good, and then half stop to close feels pretty lazy, but not bad overall. There's a micarta cover, titanium bolsters. You know what I mean. I love micarta and titanium together. This looks like nice micarta too. It's kind of, patina-ing. The back spring looks nice and flush, no gaps or anything like that. The sharpening choil is kind of one of those notch choils that we see sometimes, and it's okay. For a slip joint, it's not bad. Slip joints are not known for having great sharpening choils very often. It's a hollow grind. It feels thin behind the edge. It should be a pretty good cutter, and my buddy said that I could cut with it, so I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to just try it out. Now, it's pretty expensive, and I don't know if you can get them. I don't know how he does the drops. I looked at a couple websites, and they were sold out. I'm sure he probably just does drops occasionally. But it was $300, so, this is a Jack Wolf territory here. I would say, as far as the feeling, doesn't feel quite as nice as a Jack Wolf. And that's mostly having to do with just the walk and talk. Jack Wolf walk and talk is like stronger, crispier usually. Again, it's not bad, but I wouldn't say it's Jack Wolf level walk and talk. But, the overall design I think is really good. So let's see how it cuts. All right, folks, are you ready? Are you ready to see what this knife can do? The blade steel is M390. We have a pretty good edge to start out with. Definitely cutting paper very easily, even able to do some turns in there. It's a hollow grind. It's pretty thin behind the edge. And it's very pokey. Let's see how it slices, cutting up some cardboard. I imagine it'll do pretty well. Blade stock isn't like crazy thin or anything, but got the hollow grind. There's a nice big swedge. So, and as you can see, yeah, we are slicing cardboard really nicely, really nicely. Oh yes. Do a couple the other direction. Real nice. Let's do some utility cutting. It is a pretty low tip and a very thin tip, so I think this will feel interesting. And I was correct. It seems to do pretty good. It just feels kind of weird for some reason. It's like, I don't know, almost like you're dragging a needle through the cardboard. One thing I noticed when my index finger was on the spine, like it is now, the corners of that spine are pretty sharp. And after doing a couple of these cuts with my finger up there, it was definitely causing a hot spot. So it would be cool if those corners of the spine were knocked down, or even crowned would be nice, but just knocked down so they're not such a crisp 90-degree angle there. Cecil rope. Cecil rope. We have a little belly to work with here, which makes things a little easier. It's cutting pretty good. It just feels weird having such a thin tip. I don't know. It just feels weird. It's almost like there's no mass behind it to help you cut. But it is doing a decent job. I wouldn't say it's destroying the Cecil rope, but it's it's cutting it for sure. A little easier to hang your hand off the edge of the board there. Okay, what's next? How about some rubber tubing? Let's try to cut it like a cucumber. I'm going to take a sip of coffee here. Hope you don't mind. It's doing pretty well with this rubber tubing. I'm avoiding putting my finger up on the spine there because it did kind of, it was uncomfortable. Next, we got some strap here. There's this section that is stitched together, this double thickness area. Let's cut this. We did it with the shark cub a while back, and it blew my mind how quickly it got through that. Not nearly as quick with the Kingpin here, but not bad. Let's do one more. And on this one, it had more difficulty. I think that first one dulled the edge pretty good. You see all the fraying we got now? I think that kind of did a number on the edge here. Further evidence of that to come. Let's try one of these. See how far we get through it. I don't think it's going to make it far. It's a more of a dainty blade, not really a strap cutter, but yeah, less than halfway, maybe about a quarter of the way through. But we'll finish it off there. And what else we got? Is that it? I think that's it. Let's see where our edge is at. See how this M390 did. The answer is not good. It doesn't even want to bite in. I noticed this paper felt a little soggy. So I try my other knife just to make sure it's not just the paper here in a minute. Let's see how the drift does. See if it's just me or just the paper, but no, it's not. The drift is handling it. The Kingpin here is not. So yeah, I mean, it was cutting paper just fine before the testing, and now it's not. So read into it however deep you want to, but that's just the information. Let's strap it up. See if we can get back to cutting paper here. I'm going to switch paper here in a minute. We'll go to some thicker, like the cover of a magazine kind of paper. Like, this is pretty thick stuff. And it did okay with that one. It was a rough cut, but I mean, at least a little better than that thin stuff. So I'm not very impressed with the edge retention on this M390. Again, I don't know who the OEM is on this, but whoever it is seems to not really do great with M390. I feel like I need to say this. I don't know why, but there's a lot of variables here. If I had put a nice fresh edge on this and then done the test, it might have done a little better. Who knows? All I know is it was cutting paper really well before the testing, and after the testing, it would not. And that's all I can do. That's all I'm going to do. So do with that information whatever you will, and that's it. Please like the video. I'd appreciate it. And I'll see you next time. Adios.